Hi, this is Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book on tape to play for you. Today's book is Ducktales, Scrooge Treasure Hunt for 1987. So let's get started.
This is the story of Scrooge's treasure hunt. You can read along with me in your book. You will know it is time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this. Let's begin now. Scrooge McDuck was the world's richest duck, but right now he was feeling very poor. His candy factory was a wreck.
All because I dumped a huge vat of chocolate on some lousy burglars. It will cost millions to clean up. I wonder what they were trying to steal.
Scrooge's nephew Dewey yanked a small wooden object out of the solid mess.
It must have been this old model ship, Uncle Scrooge. But why would anyone want it?
I don't know, lad, but I intend to find out.
Across town, the world's second wealthiest duck was grumbling in his office.
Money, bucks, cold hard cash. I, Flintheart Glomgold, deserve to have more than that upstart McDuck. If only there was a way.
The phone rang, and a mysterious voice wheezed on the line.
Senor Glomgold, my name is El Capitan. How would you like to be the richest duck in the world? I'm listening.
He heard the stranger's plan, then raced out. Glomgold arrived at Scrooge's mansion and offered to buy the ruined factory for $2 million. Although Scrooge was suspicious at first, he couldn't resist.
It'll cost you that much to clean it up. You always were a bad businessman, Flinty.
Is that so? I bet I can make more money in 2 weeks than you can, and the loser has to eat my hat.
You're on.
Scrooge shook his hand, and Glomgold ran outside to meet someone waiting in the shadows. After Glomgold left, Dewey dashed in with his brothers, Huey and Louie. Dewey held up the boat.
We got it, Uncle Scrooge. There's a message carved into the bottom that says something about a full-size treasure ship. This model is the map.
Now I'm sure to win my bet.
Before the boys could give him the directions, they made Scrooge promise to take them along. Dewey pointed to a globe.
We begin searching here, in the South American country of Wrong.
The next day, they were high in the air, riding in the most rickety airplane the nephews had ever seen. While Scrooge dozed, Dewey nudged his brothers.
Are we sure this was the only airline flying the wrong way?
Louie was peering out the window.
Hey, this plane's headed north. We're going the wrong way.
The boys raced to the cockpit to speak with the pilot. Dewey could hardly believe what they found.
Oh no, it's a robot.
Dewey tried to pry its hands from the controls,
We want to go the other way. Let go.
but the robot's grip was too strong. While Huey was searching for some tools, Louie grabbed Dewey's arm.
Look, there's a power cord leading from the robot to the wall.
He jerked the plug, and the mechanical pilot slumped over. But with no one at the controls, the plane dove straight toward the ocean below. Dewey seized the wires and struggled to reconnect the robot.
I can't do it. Huey, grab the controls and try to bring her up.
Huey tugged on the control stick, but it wouldn't budge. Just as they were about to hit the ocean, Scrooge dashed into the cockpit and yanked back on the stick. The plane pulled up, its wheels skimming the waves. While Scrooge turned the plane around, Louie examined the robot.
Hey, this gizmo was made by the Flintheart Glomgold Company. I wonder how it got here.
Soon, Scrooge landed the battered old plane outside Wrongway. As they walked into town, they noticed everyone rushing in the opposite direction. Dewey wiped his brow.
Everyone seems to be leaving the country. I wonder what's happening, Uncle Scrooge.
They're yelling something about Munsuppies. Must be some local festival, and they're trying to avoid the tourists.
Scrooge hurried to rent a mule, but the stable owner informed him that a rich Yankee had just taken the last one. They found a llama instead and saddled it with their gear. After a few hours of walking, Louis stopped and looked around.
It's all sand. How can the ship be sunk in the desert? Sorry, Uncle Scrooge. We blew it.
Nonsense. Real treasure hunters never quit. Let's look at that map again.
Scrooge examined the model, then pointed to an anchor hole carved like a compass.
There's an arrow pointing north. I bet that's our next move.
They continued trudging in the heat, and when they stopped to rest, Scrooge lifted a crate off the llama's back. He held up a diving mask.
Ugh, a lot of good this stuff will do me in the desert.
Dewey pointed.
Uncle Scrooge, you're sinking!
Quicksand! Get a rope!
But before they could react, Scrooge had sunk out of sight. Dewey rushed forward, but Louis held him back.
Wait, you're falling too!
Suddenly, the quicksand began bubbling. Something was rising to the top. It was Uncle Scrooge, wearing the diving mask. He pulled himself onto solid ground.
I knew this underwater gear would come in handy.
He showed the boys a broken sign marked, "Danger, Quicksand."
It looks like sabotage, lads. Someone's trying to keep us from finding the gold.
On a hilltop nearby, two figures were spying on them.
Drat, Scrooge managed to escape.
Glomgold put down his binoculars. El Capitan was beside him, scowling.
Your robot trick didn't work either. You're no help at all.
Is that so?
Glomgold pulled something out of his pack.
If I didn't come up with the money to buy Scrooge's factory, we wouldn't have this map.
He was holding a perfect chocolate impression of the model ship.
You're the one who failed, Capitan. You and your burglar friends couldn't even steal the real boat. Thanks for leading me to the copy.
As El Capitan glared in silence, Glomgold placed the chunk of chocolate on a rock.
Even though we know the way, I don't trust Scrooge. He's like a money magnet. He'll find the gold for sure, but this should stop him in his tracks.
He grabbed a stick of dynamite, lit the fuse, and tossed it down the hillside.
So long, Scroogey.
Suddenly, Glomgold heard a strange sound behind him. He turned around and saw their mule chomping on something.
You stupid beast, give that to me.
Glomgold looked on in horror as the animal swallowed the chocolate.
Now Scrooge has the only map. I've got to save him.
He dove, rolling and bumping down the hill, and grabbed the dynamite. Just as he snuffed out the fuse, there was a giant explosion. At that moment, the nephews heard a loud crack above them. Scrooge looked up.
It's lightning, lads. We're in for a storm.
Soon a torrent fell, flooding the desert. Dewey turned to his brothers.
These must be the Monsapis. No wonder everyone left wrong way.
As they sloshed through the blinding rain, they didn't see two dark forms following them. At last, they came to a wall of mountains. Exhausted, Scrooge sat down.
The ship couldn't be here. I've been a fool.
Louis got out the map.
Like you said, Uncle Scrooge, real treasure hunters don't quit searching.
He turned the model ship over to examine its keel for clues. Scrooge glanced at Louis, then jumped up, pointing behind him.
Look, when the boat's upside down, it's shaped just like that mountain over there.
They splashed their way to the base, and Dewey rushed ahead.
Hey, there's a cave big enough for a ship.
They ran inside, and Scrooge peered into the darkness.
It's empty, lads, but at least it's dry.
The boys set a junior woodchuck alarm, then they all settled down to get some sleep. Minutes after they had dozed off, they were awakened by a loud clanging. Someone had tripped the alarm. Scrooge leaped up and found himself face to face with Flintheart Glomgold. Glomgold shot him an evil grin.
It seems I need a treasure map, Scrooge.
Suddenly, El Capitan appeared from the shadows.
Don't be a fool, Glomgold. We'll find the ship ourselves.
Before Scrooge could ask who he was, El Capitan pulled Glomgold into a tunnel. Scrooge and the boys raced after them, chasing them deep into the mountain. They turned a sharp corner and hit a dead end. Glomgold's face appeared in a shaft above them.
Nice try, Mr. Second Best.
With his partner's help, he rolled a big boulder over the opening. Scrooge ran back the way they came.
We've got to find another exit, lads.
The nephews rushed after him, trying not to trip in the darkness. Minutes later, Louis felt his feet getting wet.
The water's rising! We're trapped!
Scrooge urged the boys forward.
Come on, we're not waterlogged yet. All my years spent in mines taught me a thing or two.
He led them through a passage slanting uphill, then down another tunnel. Suddenly, he disappeared. The boys stared through a hole at the rainy sky. Scrooge had run straight out of the mountainside. As the boys pulled him back in, Louis pointed to the flooded valley below.
Look, you guys! The treasure ship!
They climbed down the hillside and jumped aboard. Scrooge ran below deck.
There's at least 3 tons of gold. I won, Flint Heart, wherever you are. You and your friend couldn't outsmart me.
While Scrooge was doing a jig, Dewey examined a glittering cup.
But how are we gonna get all this home, Uncle Scrooge?
By earning your junior woodchuck seamanship badges.
They patched the hold and were soon floating on the floodwaters, the ship's golden sails speeding them past the city of Wrongway. As they swept into the open sea, Scrooge took a seat.
It's smooth sailing, boys. I'll have my gold home in no time.
Correction, my gold.
It was Glomgold. Holding an ancient rifle, he and El Capitan emerged from their hiding place.
It's been fun, Scroogey, but it's time we parted ways.
Glomgold forced them into a tiny rowboat, and as they started to drift away, he laughed.
I don't want you to go away empty-handed. Here.
He tossed a single gold coin to Scrooge. El Capitan grabbed Glomgold by the shoulders.
My gold. You threw away my gold. Swim out there and toss the coin back. Your usefulness is at an end.
He aimed the ship's cannon at Glomgold and lit the fuse.
So, you want to play rough?
Glomgold pushed the cannon mouth toward El Capitan. Soon they were shoving it back and forth until suddenly it fired straight up. A moment later, the cannonball came plunging downward, splintering the deck. As the golden ship began to sink under the waves, Scrooge pulled the villains out of the water.
It looks like I won the bet, Flint Heart.
How? All the gold went to the bottom with the ship.
Scrooge pulled something out of his pocket and held it up.
Sorry, Flinty. Thanks to you, I still have this one coin, so I win the bet. Now, how do you want your hat? With or without mustard?
Life is like a hurricane, in duckbird. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. Ducktales, woo. Every day they're out there making ducktales, woo. Tales of daring, do bad, and good luck tales, woo. Danger, watch behind you. There's a stranger out to find you. What to do? Just grab onto some ducktales, woo. Every day they're out there making ducktales, woo. Tales of daring, do bad, and good luck tales, woo. Not fairy tales or cotton tales, no ducktales, woo.
That was the end of the story. If you would like to hear it again, turn the tape over.
So, that was DuckTales, Scrooge Treasure Hunt for 1987. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, and have a groovy day. And our next book will be DuckTales, Welcome to Duckburg.